Hello guys, Melissa here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you the Elgato Key Light Air. So this light here is one of the newest additions to the Elgato Key Light family, and this one RRPs are $129.99 whilst the original RRPs are $189.99. So there is a big difference in price, but let's get it unboxed and see what other differences they have. So first of all, in terms of the packaging, you've got the product image and the information on the front of the box, and then on the rear is where you have all of the other information and everything else about the product as well. So let's get this opened. So as we open the box, you can see that you are greeted with basically the instruction manual, except it's just on a piece of card. This is going to help you on how to set it up, how to put it together, and just generally how to connect everything and stuff as well and control it. So that's really cool. It's better than just like having like a booklet or something. So that's really cool. That's your instructions. And then on the inside is where the goodies are. So you have your light panel right here. So that's that. You have your base. Then underneath the box we have the telescopic pole mount. So this is what's going to be mounted onto the base, and then it's going to go into the back of the key light as well. Now we have the box. So inside here is where you're going to be finding your power plug. So this part will go into the back of the key light, and then that part will go into a plug socket. They've also included 4 different power adapters as well, meaning that you can actually use the key light wherever you are in the world. You're not just tied to just a restricted one plug type, so you're not being stuck with like a UK plug or anything like that. I'm in the UK, so I will be using the UK plug, but you do have the other options there if needed. And moving on to the kind of like little bag of goodies that you have here. So inside here is where you will find everything else that's needed in order to build the Elgato Key Light. So you have your ball head mount, your wheel screw, and then like the clasp that holds onto the ball head mount as well. So now that we have everything outside of the box, let's get it built and see how easy it is. Now that the key light is built, in terms of the whole building process, I didn't find it was very difficult at all. It was one of those I didn't have to look at the instructions, or I didn't feel stumped at all. It was one of those that the product itself was very self-explanatory the more I was kind of putting parts together. The only issue I did actually come across was actually trying to mount the light panel to the telescopic pole. They haven't taken the original design from the Elgato Key Light and implemented it into the Key Light Air, which is really unfortunate because this one, the clasp that holds the ball head mount, it's like the moment you try and loosen it ever so slightly, the whole thing just kind of like comes apart. So it's very easy to drop the light panel. Luckily, I was holding the light panel when that happened, but basically just make sure that you are careful when you're trying to mount the light panel onto the pole. Just make sure you're either on like your carpet or a bed or something, because you don't want to drop the light panel from a height and then unfortunately it breaks. Moving on to the overall look of the Elgato Key Light Air. In my opinion, it's very simplistic, but still very aesthetically pleasing all at the same time. It's one of those things that you don't want it to be an eyesore, because you want it to fit nicely with everything that you've got, whether that be your setup, whether that be your studio. The product is made entirely out of high quality metal as well, so you know that it's going to be very durable and it's going to have a lot of sturdiness to it. It's something that if it was to have a little tumble, it's not going to be something that breaks very easily, and it's not going to be very easy to bend or anything like that, which is good because it adds a lifespan to the actual light itself. It means that it's not going to break anytime soon and you don't have to go out and buy another one. One of the main points to mention about the Elgato Key Light Air is that it is a hell of a lot smaller than the original Elgato Key Light. The dimensions of the light panel on the Air only measuring 205mm in height by 205mm in length, and then only having a thickness of 30mm. Meanwhile, the original Elgato Key Light is pretty much double this. In terms of the telescopic pole height, the Key Light Air provides a minimum of 60 centimeters in height and having a maximum of 88 centimeters, while the original Key Light has a minimum of 55 centimeters and then a maximum of a whopping 125 centimeters. Talking about telescopic poles as well, Elgato did actually go ahead and add a printed height scale on the actual pole itself, so that you know how high or how low you want to have the pole. So you'll have this numbering system, which is really good in my opinion. It means that you're not going to worry about losing your height or anything like that. It's something that you can easily remember and get back to without having to guess roughly where it was. One of the new things that Elgato have added with the Key Light Air as well is a hidden cable rail. So this is really cool. It's actually on the back of the telescopic pole, and that means that you can actually go ahead and push the power cable into the little slot on the back, and this minimizes the mess of the wires. On the back of the light panel, again, is very simple. You've got your power on and off switch, a reset button, and then the slot that your power cable actually goes into. They've added like this really cool funky pattern on the back of it, but to be honest, in my opinion, it's really not needed. Where it would be in my setup, it's not really something that I would ever get to see anyway. In terms of the whole structure of the Elgato Key Light Air, in my opinion, is really good for the fact that they've got that 3D swivel ball head mount as well. So that means you can actually go ahead and angle the lights in whichever position or anything that you want. One of the main final things that I will mention in terms of the way that the Elgato Key Light Air looks, there's a big difference because this Air has the base, whilst the original Key Light was an actual like desk mount. So it can be really difficult, especially if you go ahead and buy the original Key Light and realize that you can't actually mount it anywhere. So they've added the alternative, which is the Key Light Air, and it's got that freestanding base, so you can actually maneuver it anywhere on your desk if you wanted to. Moving on to the connectivity of the Elgato Key Light Air, it can be connected to either a PC or a laptop or a mobile as well, and this will enable you to control your temperatures of the lights, the actual brightness intensity, and just generally turning it off and on. The setup process is really simple. First of all, you want to make sure that you have installed the Control Center app either on your mobile or PC/laptop. Then once that's done, you want to make sure that the Elgato Key Light is actually turned on. Then you find the accessory icon and find the discoverable accessory in the list. Then you have to connect to your Wi-Fi, put in your password, and then you're done. So as you can see, it's really easy for me to actually go ahead and use the mobile app to connect to the Elgato Key Lights as well. And just generally, it makes it a lot simpler, because otherwise, if there was a lighting issue, I would have to get up and go ahead and sort it out and adjust everything accordingly. But I can do it all from my phone, which is really good. And the best thing about it is that I can turn it off and on whenever I want. Another really cool thing that Elgato have actually implemented when it comes to the Elgato Key Lights is the Stream Deck integration as well. So this means you can actually go ahead and control your lights all from your Stream Deck if you have one. In terms of the Key Light Air's brightness intensity and the colour range that it has, it is actually fitted with 80 high quality Osram LEDs, and these are actually located on the edge of the panel on the inside, and they go all of the way around the panel. It does have a maximum of 1400 lumens, and the colour temperatures range from 2900 Kelvin to 7000 Kelvin as well. So if you wanted a very bright white light or a very warm orangey light, then you can achieve either. With the light panel as well, it's got really good light diffusion. Inside is made up of multiple layers to help with this, and this will reduce any like eye strain you might have, or generally just like looking through to the camera. Normally you have like the light behind your camera to make your face look radiant, but when that happens, sometimes you can be quite like blind when you're doing it because the light is really bright. To be honest, I'm a massive Elgato product lover. I do own a fair amount of them. I'm not going to sit here and list each one, but I do use a lot of Elgato products, and it's because I need them. It's because they give me ease of control in a lot of areas that other products wouldn't do. I do like the fact that you can actually control it all through either the PC or laptop or mobile. I think when it comes to the whole build process and like setup process of the Elgato Key Light Air as well, I think that the whole thing is very, very simple to do. And even if you're not very tech savvy, or even if you're someone that reads instructions all the time for anything that you build ever, you're going to be able to just look at this and be like, right, this is how you build it. It's super simple and it's incredibly easy. And then finally, my only dislike about the Key Light Air was just when I tried to install the light panel onto the telescopic pole. It all got very fiddly and I ended up dropping the clasp, and it's one of those, like, if I hadn't been holding the light panel would have fallen as well. And I couldn't guarantee that it would have survived a fall. I'm not entirely sure. I just wish that Elgato would have implemented the original design and put it into the Key Light Air's design. So guys, that is it from me for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the BitTech channel, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications so that you can see when our next videos go live. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you for the next video, and goodbye.